The Hunter's Feast. The sun dipped behind the towering pines, casting long shadows over the quiet forest. James and his friends, Mark, Ryan, and Tom, had spent the entire day hiking and setting up camp deep in the wilderness. Now, as the evening chill settled in, all they could think about was the feast they had planned. Mark, the self-proclaimed grill master, had marinated thick cuts of chicken before they left home. As he placed the meat over the crackling fire, the aroma of sizzling spices and charred wood filled the air. James poked the fire with a stick, watching the flames dance while Ryan and Tom leaned back against a fallen log, savoring the scent. "Nothing beats grilled chicken after a long day in the wild," Tom said, rubbing his hands together in anticipation. As the chicken cooked to golden perfection, juices dripping onto the flames, Mark handed out the first pieces. James took a hefty bite, crispy on the outside, juicy on the inside. The smoky, slightly spicy flavor melted in his mouth. "Damn," Ryan said between bites. "I don't know if it's the hunger or the setting, but this is the best chicken I've ever had." The men ate in silence for a while, focused on the meal. The sounds of the forest, rustling leaves, distant owls, and the occasional crack of twigs, provided the perfect background music. As they finished, they leaned back, full and content, staring at the flickering fire. "This," Mark said, raising his last bite of chicken, "is what life's about." No one argued. With good food, good company, and the endless sky above them, they knew this was a night they wouldn't forget. With their stomachs full and the warmth of the fire keeping the night's chill at bay, the men leaned back against logs and rocks, settling into the moment. The forest around them was alive with nocturnal sounds, the distant hoot of an owl, the rustling of unseen creatures in the underbrush, and the crackling of burning wood. Tom stretched his legs and let out a satisfied sigh. "We should make this a tradition. Grilled chicken, the wild, and no distractions from the outside world." James nodded, sipping from his flask. "Agreed. There's something about food cooked over an open flame out here that just makes it taste better." Ryan, the jokester of the group, held up a half-eaten chicken leg. "Or maybe Mark finally figured out how to cook." Mark scoffed and threw a small twig at him. "Watch it, or you're on dish duty." Laughter echoed through the trees. It was moments like these that made the long hikes, the exhaustion, and the sore muscles worth it. The firelight flickered against their faces, casting shadows that danced like spirits among the trees. After a while, James stood up and stretched. "I'll check the perimeter before we turn in." "Watch out for bears," Ryan teased, but there was a hint of seriousness in his voice. James chuckled and grabbed a flashlight, making his way toward the darker edges of their campsite. The forest had a different energy at night, calm yet full of mystery. The scent of grilled chicken still lingered in the air, mixing with the earthy aroma of pine and damp leaves. As he returned to the fire, he noticed the others had gone quiet. Tom was staring into the flames, lost in thought. Mark was sharpening his knife absent-mindedly. Ryan, for once, wasn't cracking jokes. James sat back down. "What's on your minds?" Tom poked at the fire. "Just thinking. Out here, away from everything, it's like we can breathe. No work stress, no city noise. Just this." The group nodded in agreement. Out here, in the heart of the wilderness, with grilled chicken in their bellies and stars above their heads, they felt at peace. Eventually, they cleaned up the remains of their feast, making sure no scraps were left for scavengers. Then, one by one, they crawled into their sleeping bags, the fire slowly burning down to glowing embers. As James drifted off to sleep, he thought about how right Tom was. Life wasn't about deadlines and city lights. It was about moments like this, good food, good friends, and the endless whisper of the forest. And with that thought, he smiled, listening to the sounds of the wild as sleep took over.